Hey there, Edgar community. It is Megan here today. I'm coming at you from Florida. So hopefully if you're in a cold place, I can send some sunny, warm vibes your way. And I'm here to talk a little bit today about your pre-launch strategy. So if you are a company who already has an established social media strategy, stay tuned still, because this is a great way to get a fresh take on the things that you're doing. Because remember, social media is all about experimenting and making sure that you have the right goals at every single time. And if you're a new brand just getting started, definitely make sure you stick around to make sure you're getting your marketing message out there and connecting with your community as soon as possible. So after this video, if you're still wanting more tips about stuff like this, I'm also going to put a link to our founder, Laura Roeder's talk. That's about an hour long that she gave at a conference that ConvertKit did put on. And it's an awesome way for you to start learning from her successes, from her struggles, from the things that she learned when she was starting to create MeetEdgar, our software for social media automation, and start to adopt them to your own marketing strategies to get the best start possible. And when you're just getting started with marketing, remember, the main goal is that you want to have a brand people want to hang out with. You don't want to have a social media feed that is just promotional status update, promotional status update, promotional status update, because no one wants to follow a feed like that on social media. They want to follow a feed that they feel like they're connecting with real human beings, that they're really getting a vibe about a community who's built around the same kind of logical goals that they have in their life. So thinking about the ways that you can do this, it's all about diversifying your content right from the start. And doing this really does help you build that know, like, and trust factor that's so important on social media. And it's really going to be a way that you can make people fall in love with you and your personality right from the start. Because when it really comes down to it, remember, people buy from people, not brands, not services. They want to have that one-on-one connection. They want to make sure that they're supporting companies who have the same values as them. And social media is one of the best ways to get your values out as soon as possible. So have your company values in front of you every time you write a status update, have your goals set, and know what those status updates are really going to accomplish for you. There's so many products and services out there these days that you want to make sure you're differentiating yours from all the other choices that people have to choose from. And one of the best ways to do this is to be unique with your personality. Because as cheesy as it may sound, you are the only you out there, and you're what's going to help differentiate your business from everyone else. So share your story, share your family if you're comfortable with that. Share these things that connect us all as humans so you can get that humanizing brand factor that is so important these days. It is especially important for marketers who are going to be getting out website stuff, any sort of e-commerce, any sort of software service. Stuff like this is hard for people to kind of connect with, because a lot of the times when we learn about these products, we're learning from a computer screen, and that's not necessarily a humanizing thing. That's not something that you trust right away. So social media can start to take that computer screen and start to humanize it even more. And if you need more convincing why you need to get started on this now, I want you to start thinking, even before your product launches, about all the early adopters you're going to lose if you don't start marketing your product or service even before it launches. Early adopters are some of the best people to get feedback from. They're some of the most loyal customers because they feel like they're a part of your team. They feel like the feedback that they're giving is really quality, and that your product is going to be shaped by this in the future. So having your marketing out there to get people who are excited about new technology, who are excited about testing out new products, is one of the best ways not only to get more users for your product or service, but also to get that feedback right from the start and to create partnerships with some of your most loyal followers. So guys, these are some of the best reasons to start doing this. And if you're looking for more in-depth ways to connect with your followers, I want you to also think it's not just about status updates. It's about this omni-channel approach. If you follow a lot of marketing blogs or a lot of podcasts, you might be hearing this buzzword a lot these days. And that's because it's so important to make sure everything you're doing in your marketing is fitting together in this nice little puzzle. So remember this idea of, say you're doing a lot of status updates. You can utilize these not only to educate and entertain and promote your product, but also to promote other things like your newsletter sign up to get emails, to maybe nurture people who aren't quite ready to buy yet, but are on this journey of making sure that they know about the product. So when they are, you are there for them. Another idea that I like to really put out there for a pre-launch strategy is getting brave with webinars. Webinars are one of the best ways that you can offer this humanizing brand factor to your followers. And it's also one of the best ways feedback from your followers, because you'll see the questions that people have live on your screen. And this is great feedback to make sure you're incorporating that into your website, into your features page on your website. Remember that all-important omni-channel approach. You're getting that feedback from the webinar. You're seeing where people's pain points are. You're seeing where they're stumbling upon, hey, this doesn't seem quite what I need. And you can answer those on the webinar, but still take those over and actually get that on your website. So more followers who might have those same questions can get them answered right away. And you can get them over that hurdle, putting in their credit card details and getting the benefit of your product or service. Webinars are also a really great way to make sure that you are building a loyal tribe, because a lot of the time with the chat features in webinars, like on systems like Demio or even on YouTube, it's a great way that you're able to get your community to talk between each other, sharing, again, each other's ways that they are using your product, sharing their own struggles, and your product or brand will be so much more appreciated by your followers because they have the new connection with community members who have similar goals as them. And this is going to build a strong tribe and a strong word of mouth marketing strategy right from the start. And when you're doing this, you want to remember that it's not all about building a huge tribe right away. You know, likes are awesome, followers are awesome, but what you want to focus on is if your message is resonating with your strongest followers. That's really the way marketing is going these days, is getting a small tribe of people who are so loyal and so excited about really getting started with your product or message. And if you have these strong, loyal followers, you know, follower count does not matter as much as people who are actually going to engage and actually going to talk to you. And your pre-launch strategy can help you hone in on your message and help you craft this message that resonates with all of your followers in a really strong way. So thinking about testing out different status updates to see if people are sharing it and if people are commenting on it, not just passively liking it, is going to be something that'll help you down the road know what language your followers really connect with, know what kind of message and pain points they're looking for your product or service to solve, so that when you do grow bigger and you're ready to launch to an even bigger community, you know the language that's going to work the best. Because really your product or service deserves the marketing that you spent so much time building. So don't waste time in just testing this out. Once it launches, you want to test it out before it launches. So once it does, you are ready, set to go. And if you're nervous about videos or webinars or marketing, I like to give this tip because I do them a lot, and it's not something that I ever studied or anything in college, and it's something that I was also really nervous about. And one tip that I actually learned from a podcast that I was listening to is if you just pretend like you're speaking to your best friend, your message will not only come across a little bit more casual and a little bit more social media-like, because remember, you want your status updates to fit in with that friends and family vibe people are looking for when they go on social. But it's also a way that you can calm your nerves. So one trick is you could post a picture on your computer. Just put a little photo of your family or your friend that you're speaking to, and you don't have to be as nervous that you're speaking to 100 followers. You can just be speaking to that one person to get that casual tone and to really make sure that you're connecting in a human way to your followers. And test your marketing message through video. Again, do it live. I know that you all might think that, oh, Megan, Edgar talks about evergreen content all the time. Can I just pre-record it? But I'd really love to push you, especially in your pre-launch strategy, to start doing things like live webinars and start doing things like live Facebook ones. Because again, this is going to get you the questions, and this is going to get you the pain points and the hurdles that your followers are having before buying your product or service. And it's also going to teach you how to be a better business owner, because you have that sort of respond under pressure kind of stress to know and kind of hone in and really craft your elevator pitch on what your product is really great for. So get brave and make sure that you are video. It's not only because the algorithms love it, love it, love it these days, but because your followers do deserve it as well. And if you do get a few people who love your message and they're commenting and they're really sharing it out with their community so much, you'll know you hit that message, and you can incorporate that into your standard brand voice that you're going to use across all your marketing channels, in your newsletter, in your product. So share what you learn with your team. Make sure everyone's on the same page. So you develop this strong brand voice and you know that audience persona, who it's speaking to, and you can really get up and running to make sure you're connecting as good as possible. So guys, get out there and start testing this message. I cannot stress it enough. Even if you have not launched your product yet, crafting your marketing message is just as important as building that code base. And don't be shy about this one. The one thing that often gets overlooked is the power of your team too. So as you're crafting this, and as I was mentioning, sharing the lessons you're learning with the rest of your team, you want to make sure that you're also empowering them to share your blog content, to share your status updates on their own social media, to open up your product or service to their community as well, and make your employees feel like they have a stake in making sure this product succeeds. And using a tool like Edgar can really help with this as well, because you're able to do things like connect up their own personal LinkedIn or Twitter accounts. And this is really helpful because then they don't have to worry about going out and posting your latest blog post. With Edgar's RSS feature, those blog posts will automatically be to your library, and based on the schedule you set, they can send out to all of your employees LinkedIns, making sure that they're staying really relevant in the industry. It's not only going to help your brand get a little bit more awareness, it's also going to help them stay more relevant, make sure their LinkedIn account is really up and running and strong. So it's kind of a win-win in that way. If you need any help setting this up, support@meetedgar.com. Definitely let us know. Cool. So speaking of blog content, I also don't want you to underestimate this power of building anticipation before you pre-launch. So making sure that you're thinking about your product or service and making sure you're capturing people's trust from the start. Blog content and free value marketing is some of the best stuff to do this, because you're saying, hey, I'm offering you all of this advice for free. I'm offering you this free PDF or this free article on how to succeed, or anything that's going to really offer education. And that's going to build so much goodwill amongst your followers that it's going to be stuck in their brain. And even if they're not ready to buy at this time, once it comes time they need your product or service, your brand is going to stick out as someone who cared about them, who valued them, and you'll see the great success of building up your community that way. And I also want to make sure that, as I mentioned at the beginning, you guys are remembering social media is all about experimenting. It is no set rules for what works in every community. There's no set rules on what works for everyone on every network. So make sure that you're getting out there, and pre-launch stage is the time to make mistakes and the time to really capture your audience's attention. And if you've made a mistake on social media, let me tell you, you are on the right track, because everyone has. If it was easy and perfect, everyone would do it and have 1 million followers. It is not an easy process, and it takes that kind of really bold experimentation in order to win on social media these days. So take a deep breath as you're getting started, and don't be shy about trying new things. One tip you can also do for this is remembering, hey, if this comes up, you are not a perfect person. You are a perfect marketer if you're making mistakes, because you're experimenting. You're experimenting with it, and you are there for your audience. And one of the things that really works well for this is to say, hey, I knew this was going to happen. This is what I learned from it, and this is how I can improve in the future. So everything you do, make sure that it is going forward. Make sure you're learning lessons from it. And if something goes wrong, show up for your followers and be authentic. Authentic marketing is where this world is going on social media. So share your own successes and failures. Every webinar that you do, you can learn something from, whether it's how you can improve on the technology you're using, how you can improve on the message that you're putting out there. So having these processes in place of having a retro after you do something to really make sure that you're learning from it will, again, just help you progress that much more. So guys, thanks so much for joining today. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and link Laura's talk in the comments here. And this is a great place for you to get a little bit more in depth on Edgar's personal way that we launch and her lessons and successes and failures. It is an amazing talk, so definitely go and check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. And let us know in the comments below if you do have any questions. If you're just getting started and you want a software program like Edgar to help automate your social media, it's a really cool thing that you can make sure you're setting up from the start, slowly building out your content library, getting it out to your followers, and having everything so organized and in one place in this kind of stressful yet super exciting time of getting your product or service off the ground. So I'll also put a code for a free month of Edgar if you wanted to test it out. And make sure that it's going to be right for you. And we are always happy to help you get your account set up, and always happy to chat social media strategy. So email support@meetedgar.com if you do have any questions. Thanks so much for joining today, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.